Cure Leukaemia are delighted to announce that the Binding site has chosen us as their new charity partner. The specialist protein company that employs over 400 in Birmingham and many more worldwide is the first of our partners to introduce payroll donations, which many employees have already signed up to.
Well, the Binding site was founded about 30 years ago out of Birmingham University and was basically producing blood tests ever since. The main blood tests to start with were all to do with autoimmune disease, but now for the last 10 years we've been operating predominantly in the blood cancer world, but multiple myeloma, so very B-cell diseases that are, as with leukemia, deadly, and we work on the diagnosis, prognosis of the disease and try and help patients live a better life for longer.
Cure Leukaemia are committed to changing patient lives through translational research. Binding Site has also got the same commitment, changing patient lives, better diagnostic tests and novel tests which allow previously unidentified markers to be used to enable better outcomes, better treatment for patients.
And here we are right in the centre of Birmingham. It's fantastic that such great advances in science are being made here in Birmingham.
Yes, that's something certainly we're both proud to be part of, but proud to see as well. And I hope that over the coming years we can continue to attract more life science companies here, as well as the medical community with the Translational Medicine Hub, so that we can learn from each other and build a much bigger, broader community in this area.
I mean, we're very proud of our growth, and we're very proud to have had a great relationship with the University of Birmingham and the Cancer Studies Centre there. And we've had a large number of studies with these guys. We use the samples from University of Birmingham to validate our tests, and really it's a partnership that has been growing year on year, strength by strength, and we're delighted to be continuing that with Cure Leukaemia.
The company's employees were given an introduction to the work Cure Leukaemia do, with a series of talks from two of our founding members, Hampson-Silk and Professor Charlie Craddock.
What Cure Leukaemia does is it connects patients for whom standard treatments have failed and for whom the future is otherwise extremely bleak. They'll be dead, bluntly, within months, with new treatments that perfectly understandably the NHS won't fund until clinical trials have been done to show they work. So what Cure Leukaemia does is it bridges that gap. It says, we've got patients in great need, there's incredibly promising drugs, let's put the two together. We have been able to recruit hundreds of patients with end-stage disease to clinical trials, many of whom have benefited from what has become £21 million worth of free drug.
So Cure Leukaemia is a sustainable business. We've created 160 jobs in the hospitals around the area, and we think this is something that will go on. When I was diagnosed, 1 in 10 survived. Now, 12 years later, 4 in 10 are surviving. So it's good numbers, but it's still not enough. So there's a long way to go. I don't know how long it'll take, but we're going to keep working at it.
It is perverse. It is completely wrong that drugs are sitting on drug companies' benches and patients need those drugs, and that just for the want of some funding of research nurses, the two aren't coming together. So this is a very radical, innovative and highly effective model.
Charlie also gave members of the Binding Site's charity committee a tour of the Centre for Clinical Haematology at Birmingham's Queen Elizabeth Hospital.
And so the Cure Leukaemia money pays for the salary of folk who live in this office, salaries that otherwise wouldn't be paid, but because we have these folk, we can run the trials and patients have access to new drugs.
We asked our workforce who they'd like us to work with, which charity they'd like us to be involved in, and they came up an overwhelming response with Cure Leukaemia. We've met with Charlie and we completely agree that that's the right thing to do. The work is very similar, you're a local firm and you are putting Birmingham on the map and saving lives. What could be better?
There's a huge synergism, and I think everybody has the same goal, which is a better outcome for leukemia and myeloma patients. We're focused in hematological malignancies, also in primary immunodeficiencies, and we really believe that the work that we do leads to better outcome for patients, and that's hugely important, and we're delighted to be continuing this collaboration.
It affects everything that we stand for. It's about the care of the patient, it's about prolonging lives, it's about enabling people to live longer and healthier.
We're going to think big. We want to really do our bit and maybe partner with some of your other companies and help to raise some decent funds for you.
The fact is that we still have many patients for whom conventional treatments for blood cancers, particularly adults, fail, who need access to these drugs. We're turning down clinical trials because we don't have enough nurses. And so there's a great unmet need. And the more nurses you fund, the more hope you give, and in the long term, the more lives you save. So thank you again for giving up your lunchtime.
Cure Leukemia. More funds equal more nurses, saving more lives.